All right. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Prince George's Community Federal Credit Union 2023 Financial Webinar Series. Today's presentation is brought to you in partnership with Coffee, a nationwide financial coaching and education center focusing on improving the financial health of individuals. As the premier credit union of Prince George's County, we have joined with Coffee to expand our mission of providing quality financial education to our community and lending insight into credit management, home ownership, and money management. Prince George's Community Federal Credit Union is a full-service financial institution serving anyone who lives, works, or worships in Prince George's County, Maryland. We are one of the county's best kept secrets with competitive loan and savings rates, as well as discounts to national retailers. We currently serve over 17,000 members in the area and welcome you to come and experience the benefits of membership as well. Later on in the presentation, we will display our contact information and answer any specific questions you may have concerning your financial needs. It's not too late to invite your friends and colleagues to join today's webinar. You should have received an email about 30 minutes ago. In that email is a link that you can pass along for them to register and join the call. Please note that today's webinar is live and all phone lines have been muted. If you have questions, please feel free to type it into the question box on the right-hand side of your menu bar. All questions are private and will be addressed at the end of our discussion. We will also be offering a free 60-minute financial coaching session with the completion of 3 webinars. More information will be given at the end of today's session. Lastly, a recording of today's session will be available later on today on our website at www.princegeorgescfcu.org/webinar. And with that, we will turn it over to Ms. Doris Baker.
Thank you so much, Gerald, and good morning, everyone. Welcome to our very last installment of this 2023 financial webinar series. I hope that it has been beneficial to you all that have had the opportunity to join us for all 3. So I'm excited about this particular webinar because it's about my very favorite subject in the entire world, and that's budgeting and saving. And that's going to be our focus today within this presentation, to discuss budgeting, because this is truly the foundation for all of our financial success. Now, some people, when they hear my favorite B-letter word, they start feeling real tight and anxious and everything because they feel like a budget is so constraining and it doesn't leave room for you to have any fun. It is just too hard and time consuming. But let me tell you, that is not at all true. The point of making a sustainable household budget is to help you meet your financial goals. It puts you, my friend, in control of your money by paying attention to where the money that you're earning, where it is going. Next slide, please. So first, let's take a real good self-examination. This is where we want to start. We want to start by evaluating our very own personal relationship with money. Listen, everyone has their own relationship with money. First thing you need to ask, you need to assess, are you a spender or a saver? Now, right there, you know which one you are, okay? It's neither good or bad. It's just different, and we're all different. Each has varying ways to manage their money. What are your needs? Now, we know our basic needs are food, shelter, clothing, okay? What are your wants? And that list is unlimited. It's all dependent upon our personalities and our mindsets. Set a few personal goals. Where would you like to be financially, say, in 6 months? Try 1 to 2 years, 5 years. What will it take for you to get there? These are all things you need to think about when it comes to budgeting, because budgeting is the very first step towards achieving your financial goals and becoming basically financially fit. Next slide, please, Gerald. So here's some advice we would just like to share with you. Now, we talked about, knowing our, I like to say, money mentality, how we think about money, what are some of our driving forces or whatever. Now let's examine why even complete a budget. First thing, it helps you live within your income means because it sets some very needed boundaries for some of us. It allows you to reduce your reliance or dependence in some cases on credit cards. And it helps you save for the things you want. So instead of grabbing that credit card, a budget will really give you a roadmap in order to save for some things you may want in the future. Next slide, please. Listed on your screen, you can see there before you, and I believe you're going to get a copy of this anyway, but you may want to take a picture, are the key elements in the budgeting process. First, you need to assess your situation. Okay, we talked about that a little earlier, your needs, your values, even your stage of life. What I may budget for right now is different from what I would have budgeted for 20 years ago in some aspect, okay? Set personal and financial goals. Create that budget. Don't talk about it, be about it. Put it into action. Monitor your current spending patterns. May the church say amen to this. Monitor how and what you're spending your money on. Compare your planned spending to your actual spending. So compare what you are actually doing to what you want to be doing, if that makes sense. Review your final progress and revise your budget as often as needed. These are the key elements into budgeting and saving for your life. Next slide, please. Let's talk about how to budget. So now that we understand the importance of budgeting, how do we establish that sustainable household budget? There are 4 steps to creating a successful budget, and I'm going to walk you very gently through those steps now by moving ahead to our very next slide, please. Okay, step 1. The very first step is to add up all your sources of income. It's important that we are looking at, and all of us should know this, at your net income or your take-home pay. We want to do that so that we don't overestimate. So we want to talk about starting your budget with the money that you really get in hand or is deposited into your account. We also need to be realistic. So only account for monies that are actually received, not monies that should come in, like bonuses or even income tax refunds, okay? So we want to use, first step in our budget, are monies that we actually receive. You see examples there. It's not just your job, a part-time job. Maybe you receive child support, rent, or Social Security benefits, or other retirement benefits. Next slide, please. So the second step, once you add up all of your sources of income and all your net income, the next step is to add up all of your expenses. Now you can see from your slide, you have 3 different types of expenses. You have fixed, you have what's called flexible expenses, and also discretionary. And let's kind of break those down. Now, fixed expenses are expenses you can't really control, Why? Because they are necessary. These expenses occur regularly, are necessary, okay? There's no playing around with them. They're necessary for day-to-day living. They don't change from month to month. Now, the epitome of fixed expenses, that would be your rent or mortgage, car payment, auto insurance, those type of things. When you think about them, they don't really change month to month. Our next category of expenses is flexible expenses. And just like fixed expenses, flexible expenses occur regularly, and they're expenses that you really you can't get around them. You can't do without them, okay? So they are regular, okay, are necessary for day-to-day living. You do have some control over the amounts, however, and these would be utilities. And in some cases, let's say your cable, if you still have cable, groceries, okay, because you can BOGO, use coupons or whatever, so you can determine that amount can change, and also things such as your fuel for your car. Here we go with our final category, which is discretionary expenses. This is money that you choose to spend however you choose to spend it, okay? That's like money for movies or for a date night or going out to dinner with your friends and family. You choose to have this particular expense. It could be that specialty barber, your nails, pedicure, massage, you get the picture, that type of thing. You control this amount. It's all in your hands. Next slide, please, Gerald. So we want to talk about budgeting for expenses and the unexpected. Now, when you are preparing your budget, it is very important to set money away for an emergency fund. Emergencies are the fastest way to clear out a bank account, because what's an emergency? I mean, you never see it coming. It doesn't need to be a huge amount that you put away, but it needs to be something. There are a number of things that could happen, sickness and injury. If I break these glasses, that is a major emergency, okay? Anything medical is always unexpected. If you don't have insurance or not so great insurance, that means you have to pay for your services. Vehicles, hey, they break down, and some of them break down all the time. Accidents happen. Repairs are costly, okay? You need to be prepared for that if you have a car, or at least when you get one. And keep in mind the deductibles if you have your insurance or everything. And I hope everybody has your auto insurance. You need to be prepared. That's all I'm saying here. I consider savings as part of my fixed monthly expenses, okay? Very easy to put that in that category, and it should be. Next slide, please. So now step 3 is where we do the math. You're going to calculate all your income and then subtract all of your expenses, okay? This is the scary part. You'll either be in the black or you will be in the red. Now, when you subtract your expenses from your income, if you have money left over, of course, we know you're in the black. If your expenses are more than your income, then of course, you're going to be in the red, or you're going to have more month than money at the end of the month. Next slide. Thank you. Now is the time when we need to get to work, okay? Step 4 is where we prioritize our needs, our wants, and our goals as well. Again, if you're in the black with a surplus, you need to decide how you will use it. Will you increase your retirement or your investments? Pay extra principal payments towards your mortgage, a college fund for your children. You need to direct that surplus as to where it will go. If you're in the red with the deficit, then you need to decide how you can reduce expenses or increase income. And in some cases, for a little while, you may have to engage in both, okay? Reducing the expenses and also find a means to increase your income. And now that's it. Congratulations. Those are the 4 steps to creating a budget, and you all have done extremely well, okay? Your budget is created. Now, here's a helpful guideline for spending percentages for a budget as we move. Okay, thank you, Gerald. Next slide. Of course, everyone's situation is different, but it's a good idea to just know how your current spending compares. Now, of course, I'm here in South Florida, so top of the list is the housing at 25 to 35% of your income. I'm sure that's off the chart here in South Florida. Would be interesting to know how it ranks there in the DMV area, but that's where it stands with that. Gerald, you want to add something about the credit union here?
Yes, while we're on the topic of budgeting, just wanted to plug in that we have, as many of you might know already, we have a useful debt or a calculator that is on our website. If you would like to try that calculating that budgeting tool, it's designed for mainly students. We initially put it on there for students who are trying to budget their day and their week throughout the semester and the year for college, but anyone can use it. You can find it at princegeorgiacfcu.org/calculators, and it allows you to break down all of your fiscal responsibilities so you can plan out the days and the weeks ahead. Like I said, it was initially for students, but recently we found a lot more than students using it. So just wanted to plug that in as a useful tool.
Very good. Okay, so we can move on to the next slide, Gerald. So now we're going to have a little bit of fun, okay? Getting away from the mundane. Gerald, I believe you may have a poll.
Yeah, I'm going
Okay.
to launch a poll, and hopefully this works correctly, but it should pop up on your screen. And Doris, it's 3 questions, and I'll leave it open as Doris goes through the next 3 slides. So I'm launching it now. And Doris, there number 1 is 3 polls. There's 3 questions. So of course, there's 3 polls with 3 slides. So yeah.
Okay, so question 1. I'm going to ask you.
Here we go.
Can you? Okay, I hope everyone can see it. And I'll just read it off. Which deal is best? A, $25 gift card with purchase of $100 or more. B, buy one, get one 50% off. C, 20% off everything in the store. Okay. And we're going to move to, because I think you have them all there together, right? Yes, I do see that.
That's correct. If you want to participate in the poll, there should be a tab labeled polls, or it should have popped up on your screen. If you're on the phone, you might have to swipe the screen, I believe, but it should be on one of the different tabs. If you're on a computer, it might be easier to find the polling section. There we go. I see them coming in now. I'll give everybody a chance to answer that. Because we're on the computer right now. I know it's a little different on the phone. It's one screen at a time, so it might be a little hard to find it. They're coming in now. Okay. I'll give you a few more seconds. Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to read, which you have it there anyway, which represents the biggest discount on a $2,000 TV. A, 50% off. B, 25% off, then another 25% off the reduced price. C, 20% off, then another 20% off the reduced price. Then 20% off the twice reduced price. See, that would aggravate me so bad anyway. And the third and the last question, I'll just read it off. For a $40 Lego set, which offer will yield you the best discount? A, buy one, get one 50% off the second set. B, $15 off purchases of $50 or more. Or C, a markdown of $10 on the set. Okay.
Okay. It looks like people who have mostly answered. I'm going to end the poll, and I should be able to launch the results. So we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool beans.
sharing the results, and it should be popping up on you guys' screen. Again, you might have to swipe if you're on a phone to find the answers, but it should be live on your screen. And Doris, I didn't know if you wanted to go over what the answers were for those.
Yes, I will. So the answer to the first of the three questions, the correct answer is C. Both A and B may push you to spend more than you planned. The straight percentage discount doesn't create that incentive. So with that, there's the 20% off everything in the store is the correct answer. The second question, the correct answer is A. Discounts layered on top of discounts sound more impressive, and they really do, but they're really not that impressive. So that 50% off saves the most money. Okay. And the correct answer to the last question is C, a markdown of $10 on the set. Both A and B, again, push you to spend more than you planned. And I know that we can sometimes really get caught up in the wordiness of it. And it makes it sound like you would save more money, but actually does not, especially that buy one, get 50% off. So those are the answers. Congratulations to those that answered correctly. And we can move on to the next slide. Now I'm still seeing, okay, I'm just gonna X this out on my side, close. Okay. So that was fun. That was a little different. So back to the business at hand. Let's talk about reasons that budgets fail. I have a whole bunch on my personal list, but if you find you are spending more than you make, trust me, you are not alone. On average, it's said that Americans spend $1.30 for every dollar they make. So coming out the gates, we're overspenders. That doesn't sound good, but that is a true statistic, and it is important not to be that guy or that gal when it comes to this. Here's some tips for keeping your budget and your spending plan in the proper order. Try these questions just to help keep you on track. You know, spending can be an addiction, and like anything else, we just really have to talk to ourselves. So when you go shopping, shop with your budget in mind. Okay, shop knowing, being strategic. You all have heard me say that word a lot. Shop with a strategy. You're in and you're out. You are set on what you're coming to purchase. Keep a log every time you spend money. If you don't want to write it down every time you spend, there's an app for that, or you can use your online banking tool to track that, because God knows it pops up really quick. Watch for sales, of course. Use your coupons. Avoid buying impulse items. Like the gum, the magazine, the snacks. You know, there's a reason they have them up at the cash registers, right, in your grocery stores and in some of your discount stores. And if you budgeted for it, if you've said that I'm going to go in Marshall's and those nice premium snacks they have up front, I'm going to purchase some, and I have my $5 or $10 to do some, then okay, because you set that aside and you planned for that purchase. Don't be impulsive, which means, again, don't go to the grocery store hungry either. Keep a cushion of money for emergencies, or in case you overspend on your budget, which we're hoping that would be a rare occurrence. But long story short, make provision for that emergency account. Next slide, please. Okay, savings goals. So listed on the screen we have 3 items that you can have there as savings goals. Now, with an emergency fund, the goals you want to try to accomplish for it to be about 3 to 6 months of what you make. Some financial experts say 3 to 6 months of living expenses. So if you make $1,000 a month, say, if we use that first example I gave you, then you want to aim for three to $6,000 in an emergency fund. And you may say, why is that? Because what if you lose your job? It isn't easy, sometimes to get a new one. And what if you're injured and you're out of work for a period of time? Or what if you're just simply your car breaks down? My take on it is have something set up aside. Yes, we would love to get to the gold standard of 3 to 6 months of income or 3 to 6 months of household bills, but whatever we have set aside, or we plan to have set aside, is always a plus. So emergency saving fund is always top priority goal. Save up for Christmas gifts early. Start in the summer, say $20 a week, stick it in an envelope, and you'll have a couple of $100 by the time December rolls around. That way you can get your friends and family what you'd like to get them. Also, I'm sure that the credit union has a savings plan or whatever, which Gerald will talk about in a moment. And the same thing with vacations. If you want to take a spring break or go and visit relatives, save up for it in advance. So Gerald, I got a little bit ahead of myself talking about the credit union, but you can go ahead and chime in, please.
Yeah, just wanted to plug one of our more popular products right now, especially with the public markets being down, a lot of the turmoil with the Federal Reserve raising rates and things of that sort. We have a product called the Pot of Gold, which many of you may have heard about. It's a popular certificate of deposit. This CD offers a more disciplined approach to saving for the future, and you can earn above market rates. You will simply choose a specific financial goal, such as $10,000, $5,000, or $3,000, and you make automatic payments or deposits for a 60-month term via automatic transfers. Depending on your personal pay schedule, you can choose to make monthly or biweekly deposits. This offers a fast and safe way to grow any savings that you might want to accumulate. If you'd like to learn more about the Pot of Gold or any of our other certificate of deposit in our money market accounts, you can visit www.princegeorgiacfcu.org/certificates, and I'll put the link in the chat as well, so you guys could visit that page.
Okay, that sounds very, very interesting, that Pot of Gold. If we could move to the next slide, please. Let's talk about goal setting. So within budgeting, as you can see, we made that segue over into savings goals, okay? Because that's one of the main features, as we discussed a little bit earlier, about having a budget, is that you want to be able to be in the black or work your way towards the black if you're in the red, so that you can have assigned money you can set aside for savings, okay? So who knows the difference between a dream and a goal? And you don't have to answer, because I'm going to give you the answer. A goal is a dream with a timestamp on it. A goal, again, is a dream, okay? But it has a timestamp. Let me explain. My dream might be to be Wonder Woman in a movie, but it probably won't happen. And this is why it won't happen. I don't like working out, okay? And I don't, California is just not a place where I would like to be out there to film a movie, okay? So that puts me out of the running. But my goal is to save $5,000 by this time next year to put towards a really fabulous trip that I want to take, okay? That goal has a time stamp attached to it, okay? So with that, It's all realistic. It's something very specific that I can obtain, okay, in a reasonable amount of time. And of course, with discipline. So your goal setting, it needs to be realistic. It needs to be specific. It needs to be limited in time, and it needs to be actionable. Okay, you have to put some action behind it. And that's for any goal setting, not just financial, anything you can think of in life. You have to be, here's my word again, other than budget. Okay, my next favorite word, strategic. We have to have a strategy for every area and aspect of our lives. Next slide, please. Okay, let's talk about some ways to save. Simple ways to save are always the very best ways to save. We don't have to overthink it. Pay yourself first. Simple as that. That's real simple. You are the most important person. So have an auto pay, deduct $10 a week from your check, from your paycheck, and put it into savings, or $20, or however much you can afford. Okay. No need of having a huge amount that you're just going to go and try to pull it out, but something as simple as that. Okay. To start a savings account. Review your car insurance. Can you get a good driver, or even a good student discount? They may offer it. You don't know if you don't try, and it could save you some money, and you can turn right around and put that extra savings that you would have been spending anyway into your savings account. Now, if you're going to set up a savings or emergency fund, separate it from your checking account. Amen, church? Yes, amen. Having two different accounts will help to regulate what is going on. A savings account can keep your money safe, and it can help you save up for larger items and plan for goals. Now, if you allow that money to remain in the account where you're paying bills and doing some of your discretionary spending, it might be a little bit too enticing, and you may find yourself dipping on it. Okay, you know what I mean. Always look into Groupon or online discount sites for ways to save. Take the time to Google, say, oil change coupons. They're always there. They always have them. Purposefully, okay? Look for deals, okay? Be strategic. If you know that the car is coming up for an oil change, go ahead and start doing research to try to get it, okay? Buy one, get one deals are all over. Remember, it's not buy one, get 50% off, but the BOGOs, buy one and get one free. You just have to shop smart, okay? And in shopping smart and being an educated consumer, automatically you're going to save. You're not saving to spend, but you're saving to save, okay? Next slide, Gerald. Tracking your spending habits. Sometimes I get a thumbs down when it comes to this, but just hear me out. Are you the type of person that you every day you buy a soda, or do you get food from the vending machine on a daily basis? You know, that can add up. First of all, most of the time it's overpriced, but it can add up. Do you buy on impulse, or do you plan out what you buy? Okay. Do you look at the availability in the pricing? What patterns do you observe in your spending habits? How do you decide what to purchase? You know, we really have to do, and we're going kind of back to where we're starting from, about making wise purchases, knowing what type of money mentality that individually we have. So tracking your spending is chef's kiss, because it is going to allow you to see how much money you spend at that vending machine. You all do know that most vending machines are a way to make income for someone else. So there's always additional fees added to your snacks that you want to get from that vending machine. I just thought I'd add that. You're lining somebody else's pockets. But back to the subject at hand. Track your spending. Track it for a month or so every day to see how you're spending and how possibly you could cut back or make better purchases for the things that you are purchasing every day. That's my last preaching to the choir moment on that. Next slide, Gerald. Let's talk about, yes, some smart spending habits, okay? Smart spending habits include paying your bills on time, okay? Because you don't want to throw away money on late fees. And I'm telling you, if you miss, they are going to hit, meaning your creditors. And excessively late payments can also impact your credit score. Okay, so you don't need a dip in your credit score. Set aside money for weekly, day-to-day expenses, but you need to be realistic about your expenses, like groceries and gas, and set that money aside to monitor your spending. Which means, again, here's my word, you're going to have to stick to your budget, my favorite B letter word, and you're going to have to be strategic, have a purpose and plan when you go shopping. Put money into your savings account. Again, you can have your HR department separate your pay into a checking and savings deposit, or have your bank auto deposit money into the savings account. Consider this a fixed expense in your budget. So you'll have mortgage, you'll have auto payment, car insurance, but at the top of that list should be savings deposit. Set aside money for larger expenses coming up, like my trip to Jamaica, okay? Or large appliance purchases or anything of that nature for the holidays. Let's learn to set that money aside. If you earn more, increase how much you save. So for instance, if you should get a raise, you've been living on your same pay, right? So if you get a raise, just send that, just divert it right into your savings account. Next slide, Gerald. And Gerald, I believe this is your particular slide, these last two. So that concludes my speaking part for now. I'm going to turn it over to Gerald. Thank you all for your attention today. Thank you, Gerald.
Yes, thank you, Doris. We're going to open the floor for questions. If you have any questions, you can put them in the Q&A. If you find the Q&A tab, feel free to drop those in there as we close out. Once again, thank you for attending today's educational webinar. If you want to learn more about Prince George's Community Federal Credit Union, or if you want to speak to a member service representative, please visit us at www.princegeorgecfcu.org, or you can call 800-952-7428. And once again, we want to thank Ms. Doris Baker and Coffee for the continued support. We're also inviting you to schedule your free 60-minute financial coaching session with Coffee, and you could reach them at 866-459-5165. And I don't see any questions. So with that, I'm going to wish that you guys have a great day. If you want to go and view any of these, well, actually, we do have a question.
Oh, okay.
Let me see. What is the current interest rate on the pot of gold? And I actually have it up right here. I can tell you that answer quickly. Let's see. Right now, I guess I'll read out the different amounts. If you have a minimum balance of $1 to $2,500, the dividend rate is currently 0.5%, as well as the APY. If you have $2,500 to $5,000, the dividend rate is 1% and the APY is 1%. $5,000 to $7,500, the dividend rate is 1.5% with the APY of 1.51%. $7,500 to $20,000, you get a dividend rate of 2% and the APY is 2.02%. No problem, Marion. We love holding these webinars to help you guys out and helps us out as well because it's reinforcing the information in our own lives. So yes, the phone number for coffee is 866-459-5165. And Mary, you're asking the current interest rates. Oh, for the auto loans. Okay. Right now, man, there's a lot going on. Let me pull it up for you. Cause I normally know it, but it recently went up. Like I said, thanks to the
Yeah.
Federal Reserve. Let's see. Currently, we're offering, and this is not, just keeping it real. This is not a guaranteed interest rate. It depends, of course, on your credit score, your credit history. But right now, the auto loan rate can be as low as 4.74% APR. That's as low as. That's not really promised, but again, you know how credit history works. So that's what we're currently offering. That's the lowest rate. No problem. And it looks like that might be the last of our questions. Like I was saying, if you want to go back and review or view any of these videos again, you can go and visit our webinar landing page, the same place that you registered for this. And I have most of them live now. I'll be uploading this video either today or tomorrow. Also, we have a spring home buying webinar coming up March 3rd. That's a Friday. That registration is open now on the same page. That's the Lunch and Learn redirect.